Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Beer.
Bait and real estate.
That's right, my friend. For all of you that are brand new to the podcast, never met us, never heard us talk about this, basically, if you're not friends of ours, I am Adam Stidley. I'm from Collinsville, Oklahoma, born and raised. This is my co-host, Bryce Bechtel. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Bryce.
I'm not from Collinsville. I'm from Blackwell. Great town. Made national news recently. We'll get into that later. Family, 3 kids. Busy.
Yeah, I have 2 kids myself. Bryce and I like to have kids just about the exact same time of year. But Bryce has 3. I have stopped
You
it.
punted.
I've stopped it too. You win. You win. Man, we're both just outdoor guys. We work hard, and what we want to do with this podcast is we want to share a little bit of our outdoor knowledge. We want to share a little bit of our real estate knowledge because I am in real estate. That's how I make my living. Bryce is kind of in real estate because Bryce sells.
Without me, the house never is made.
Correct. Yeah, you need Bryce. Bryce sells lumber and everything else you need to actually build a home and is immersed in that industry. So we're hoping to bring you guys a little bit of value for that, and that will probably be the shortest segment of each show. Other than that, the main point of our show is we're just 2 country guys that aren't super familiar with craft beer.
We're very interested
Super interested.
because we like it.
I do like beer, and there's a
And
lot of
now the craft beers come online in Oklahoma. And not that it just happened, but in the last 5 years it's become really popular.
And in the last 2 years, they've loosened up some regs on them, and they can rock and roll now.
Well, we want to learn with them. We want to support them.
I want to have places where I can go drink craft beer and know exactly what in the hell I'm ordering when I order it. And I have a feeling there's a lot of you out there might be listening to this that if you were to be honest with yourself, when you buy a craft beer, you really don't know what you've just got yourself into.
50-50.
Yeah, and we're there with you, and so we're going to learn as we go, and we're going to share what we learn, because if you're going to live here in this great state and you're not going to be some country bumpkin jackass that only drinks Busch Light or Bud Light, which if you do, fine. If you're like the other 90% who's not scared to try craft beer, most especially if you're with a young lady that would like to try some, like, I suggest you learn to love craft beer.
Try it. At least try it.
Act like you like it. So what we want to do is at least give you some ammunition when you go out there to buy this stuff, that you have a little bit of an idea. So we're going to talk about the beers, the breweries, and what we
Everything that goes. We're going to judge them.
our
So, I mean,
unprofessional opinion.
yes, we are the farthest from professionals on craft beer.
And I feel like that's most people in Oklahoma.
It's very opinionated.
Absolutely. So that's what
One beer per episode.
1 beer per episode. Every episode gets a new beer. We are going, until we run out of craft beers that are made in Oklahoma, we will not rate a craft beer.
And at the rate, just in Tulsa that we see, like nothing's left brewery throws out a new beer.
Yeah, we should have hundreds of episodes. So here we go. That's what we're about. We hope that you're curious enough. You continue to dig into our episodes, and we promise to make each segment short. We're going to try to stay under the 30-minute mark on these babies and bring you some value in the beer. We're going to bring you some value in the great outdoors. We're going to bring you some value if you have any curiosities at all about real estate. So,
And maybe little tidbits of just normal life.
absolutely, it's got to sneak its way in there.
So let's talk about the first beer.
Yep, episode number 1, first beer. What do we got, Bryce?
Cabin Boys Brewery, one of our favorites.
Yes, sir.
Anybody in Tulsa, if you want to have a fun time, especially in the fall, springtime, Cabin Boys is a fun place to go hang out.
I'll interrupt. The cooler it is outside, the better off you're going to be at Capitals.
Yeah, they have an inside part that's got air conditioner and or heater. But they have a huge warehouse in the back that you can stay warm in the wintertime, but in the summertime it gets hot.
You're damn sure gonna stay warm in the summertime.
Yeah.
Cool thing about Cabin Boys folks right now is, and I'm sure this will continue forever, they have a barbecue food truck that permanently stays there. 1907 barbecue, shout out.
Great barbecue. I mean, if you go there for happy hour, whatever it may be, and maybe you're not going to make it home for dinner, but you're hungry, it's a lifesaver.
Yeah, and the dude that runs that thing, I've met him, is stand up. Great guy, pours his heart and soul into that food, and you can tell. It's good.
Yes. They run out a lot, or they did. When they first started, it was so popular. It seemed like, I mean, they were running out a lot. They might have been able to prevent that now, but.
Absolutely. So back on track, Cabin Boys, we're trying their
Huntman IPA.
Okay. And now, full disclosure, 90% of the time I'm not an IPA lover.
I am.
You're an IPA lover.
Which is rare. If you would ask buddies of mine, what kind of craft beer should we get Bryce, they would think something like light of light.
Yes.
I like IPAs. Not all of them. There's some that I've turned away from. But
Yeah.
I am interested about this one though.
Okay.
This is one that.
I'm gonna give you the rundown on it. I'm
Let's
not
hear
an IPA lover. I've done some research though, so.
What's it stand for?
This is what we owe.
A lot of people. I mean,
This is what we owe.
we're gonna have some people that already know everything about it. We're gonna have some people that
Correct.
have no idea what
I'm
IPA
gonna
stands
treat
for.
my listeners as though they're me 5 years ago.
Go.
And I didn't know much about it. So IPA, that stands for India Pale Ale, not Indian. India Pale Ale. The story on India Pale Ales, it dates way back, like 1793. George Hodgson of Bow Brewery, he was exporting porters and pale ales way back then from London to India. So basically what this boils down to, the British troops that were stationed in India at the time loved his stuff.
You think beer was hot back then?
Yes, I think from what I've read, that was some of the reason for thinking that it needed to be super hoppy, was so it would maintain.
What a bunch of tough bastards.
They were tough, but this stuff became so popular. It says they were actually lighter and more thirst quenching in a hot climate, and very popular with the British troops stationed in India. So that's
Thank
where
God
they come
for
from.
refrigerated kegs.
Way back then, they're guessing these things were about 6.5% alcohol.
Which is what they are today.
Yeah, basically, yeah, your IPAs are all going to hover around there from everything I've read. This one is 6.2. So
Let's pop top.
let's pop the top. See what we think. You're obviously going to love this, maybe more than I do, but again, in the name of rating things, I'm not going to prejudge this beer.
I mean, by the way, the cans. What I love about craft beer is they all get really creative.
Their cans always have some unique artwork on them. Almost every single one. So here, cheers.
Cheers.
We'll let you know what we think. One drink.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good beer.
My initial impression, for sure tastes like an IPA. If you've ever had IPAs, tastes like an IPA. It's not as strong.
No, I mean, I think every IPA is gonna have that bitter, hoppy taste.
Super hoppy. Let's be honest.
But not very bitter.
Super hoppy. This one, however, it doesn't bite you.
I think what I like for what I like on 4 meetings and stuff, you're not gonna go drink 10 or 12 of these. You're gonna drink 3 or 4.
No, for me. This is a 2 beer.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna have 2 of these, and I'm gonna move along.
I'm not gonna lie. I've drank several
It's got a
at one sitting.
I'm gonna give my opinion for people that are like me. It's got a strong hoppy taste, as every IPA will.
Mm-hmm.
The taste hangs with you. The aftertaste tastes exactly like the first drink. I think that's important.
Yeah, it doesn't go south on you.
It doesn't get worse after you swallow it, but it is very hoppy. It's got a ton of flavor, but this one isn't bitter. It's one of the smoother IPAs I've had.
Well, I mean, knowing that I like IPAs, and I really like this one. What are you gonna score it?
In the world of IPAs, I mean, I've had a few.
Or are you judging it off? I mean, I thought this was more of a scoring
Let's
what
give
you
it.
like.
Yeah, let's give it. I'm just going to encompass it in all beers for me.
Yeah, go for it.
On the 1 to 10 scale, for me, this beer is a 6.3.
That's good.
It's something I would order. I'll tell you this: if we were going for lunch, it's Tuesday. Okay, I got some shit to do after lunch, so I'm having a beer just to enjoy the beer, not for any other motive than
Sure.
that. I just want to have one beer with lots of flavor. I'm going this one.
I'm at a 7.2.
Okay, I expect you to be higher than that.
I mean, I really like it. But remember, for everyone out there, 1 to 10, you break 8. We're talking unicorn.
Exceptional beer if you're above 8, yeah, absolutely. Now, something that needs to be addressed. This beer, folks, is going to cost you $12.99 plus tax, which is here in Collinsville is $14.18.
For how many?
That's for a 4-pack. It's another thing craft breweries seem to do that I don't really understand is they will just sell you 4 of these babies instead of the traditional 6-pack.
Well,
So you're at $14 for 4 beers. I think that's pricey.
I think it's worth it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if you went into this as I'm not going to power drink these things, I'm buying this beer to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, if I see somebody shotgun one of these, I might hit them.
You're looking at, what's that bring these to? 3.5, 4, 3.
Well, with
bucks
tax,
a piece.
yeah.
$3.5 a beer.
Which if you go to the bar, I mean, you order
But
Bud Light, it's
Bud Light,
$2.25.
yeah. So, I don't know. It just hits me as a little high for a 4-pack. You honestly don't need more than 4 of these if you're alone.
No,
There's
I
two
don't. An IPA is not something that you're going to go to the pool with or the cookout.
No.
I mean, if you're going to be there for an extended time, you don't go down to Stillwater to tailgate
Not on IPA.
with 18 of these.
You'll regret it. Now, if there's just 2 of you, maybe that's why they do it. Like,
Yeah.
listen, folks, we know more than you do. We're going to sell you
Yeah.
4 of these because that's all you need.
Yeah.
So,
So they're just, it's a really great beer, and for people in Tulsa, if you haven't been to Cabin Boys, go check it out. Especially now that we're in the fall time. I mean, they usually have, like on the weekends, and maybe on the weeknights sometimes, they have live music.
some live music, yeah.
We've seen one great artist in there.
Yeah.
And we had a little too much fun that night.
That night. But that's what,
That's what it's about.
that's what you're there to do.
They have some amazing games in the back.
Yeah, the location is weird. You'll have to dig for it a little bit.
Tulsa will grow to it.
Yeah, but what they have set
I
up
think
there,
they hedge for the future on that.
yeah, what they have set up there is great. 1907's going to be there, from everything I understand. They're a permanent fixture now, so
Yeah.
you're going to get the opportunity to eat some good food. All kinds of beer choices. You don't just have to do this IPA, but now you know if you're like
I
IPAs.
think they usually have like between 8 and 12 choices on the board.
Yeah, and if you want to try the IPA, now you know. It's the middle of the road, not going to bite you hard.
Our vote, and I'll speak for you, is we'll stamp this one.
I'll stand.
Try it.
Yeah, I would absolutely tell you, especially if you're new and you're like, man, I just don't know about IPAs. Try this one. This one won't hurt you. This one won't turn you off on IPAs.
And it'll set a good base for you in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's going to be some that you drink that are way hoppy.
Yeah. So Cabin Boys Huntman IPA, folks, give it a shot. And give Cabin Boys a shot, man. That's probably my favorite establishment.
One of, I mean, it's hard for me to mark one down because I have fun at several of them. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna go hang out with some buddies, or even, I mean, taking our wives down there. I mean, there's ping pong,
Fantastic.
foosball,
Fantastic date night spot, fantastic meeting spot. Just
yeah,
it's awesome.
it's a good time. So, well, as we finish our beer, let's move on to our outdoor section.
Outdoor section, I'd like to hit the catfish bite below the Little Goddamn. I think people need to know about this because
Well,
I didn't learn about it until this year, and I've been in this area my whole life.
So this whole summer, I mean, we're moving into fall time now. This summer, spring into summer was kind of a bust. It rained. So moving on to that, in Oklahoma, when you have a bunch of rain, the number one thing that happens is they gotta let it out.
Everything floods. We got tons of lakes here.
So when they let it out, it doesn't matter what lake you're on. If you can get below the dam of that lake, there's a good chance that you can get into what our good friend Cole Swango
Yes.
a few weeks ago got into below the dock.
Yes.
And we're not sure how long. I mean, I presume as soon as it started flooding and they started letting out that the bite probably began. He just got on it late.
He just figured, yeah, because he just got word late. I'm going to explain to the people, here's what happens, and I think you could apply this to, like Bryce said, any dam in Oklahoma below a lake. Because this all revolves around moving water.
Yeah.
That's the variable here. So what they were doing, part of this show is to bring attention to some of these fantastic spots we have in Oklahoma for outdoor
And we're surrounded in the Northeast. We're surrounded by it.
Yeah, and so one lake we have here, we're in Collinsville, 10 minutes from here, Oologah Lake. Oologah doesn't get a lot of attention, but it's a decent lake. But what they do have is the dam, which feeds the Verdigris River.
Yep.
The Caney feeds into Oologah. The water that comes out of Oologah turns into the Verdigris River. Am I correct in that?
I believe so.
I think so. That's relatively accurate. So what they're doing, when they start letting that water out, these guys will go put their boats in below Oologah Dam, which you don't want to do with your $70,000 bass boat.
Yeah.
This is a rocky,
And-
fast moving water.
If you don't know how to back up very well,
Stop it.
Find somebody that does.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
this is a tight spot. So
So they put their boats in the water. You're in some pretty quick moving water. They get situated. Then
Yeah,
they
get your
drive
stuff
their
ready.
boat up. From what I gather, we're talking within a couple hundred yards of the dam
to the line.
to
There's
the
a-
power line. They call it the power line.
Yeah, there's a cable right there, and you run it all the way up to the cable, and I mean
You drop your lines in.
you drop it all the way to the bottom. They're using cut shad, but you can really use anything. I mean, cut perch.
Yeah, any kind of
type
bait fish.
of bait fish that you can use. They even at one point, to keep legal, any game fish, you can still use it as bait, but you need to clean it first. So they cleaned a couple catfish at one point, and then cut the heads off and use that, or
Yeah.
any chunk of meat.
What they were doing was going to the bottom with this meat, and they kill the boat
And just drift.
and drift backwards a few hundred yards. And in that few hundred yards,
Lights out.
multiple fish on
A
scenarios.
lot of break offs because it was
Big
just,
catfish.
they learned really quickly that it was a one pole per man deal
Because you're that busy.
you couldn't monitor.
I'm sad that I didn't get to go.
We were busy.
We were
We
busy.
still are.
I will go next year.
I mean, it's going to happen every year. We all know that at some point it rains enough that they let water out.
I figure this is any time they let water out thing.
To an extent, this was probably more so because of the rain that they kept letting it out. That I think that more fish migrated up.
I bet from what I know of catfish, those catfish are going to come towards that moving water.
Yeah, pretty quick. I mean, they didn't come from very far off either. But no, it was they had a blast. They caught a lot of fish, and after the rough year that we had, this was something that you could still get out there and fill the ice chest up, have a big fish fry.
Yeah, because let's talk 2019 Oklahoma,
Man,
Flood
rough.
City, USA. Skycook Lake, where you and I like to bass fish, out of commission.
Underwater.
So
There was water coming over the bridge.
yeah, so we didn't get to fish, folks, like we normally do, and bass fishing was a bust this year, but this catfish bite below Oologah Dam
Saved it.
honestly one of the damnedest things I've ever heard of.
Yeah. And it was, there was people on the banks that were fishing, and I'm sure they caught fish, but they didn't catch
Nothing like this.
Nothing
It's
like
super
this.
important to be able to be in a boat in the middle of that river.
in the middle. And
Because Cole took Neil, and Neil has lived in Oologah his entire life. You're talking a gentleman in his 60s that also said that was the damnedest thing he's ever been a part of. That's how many fish they caught,
catching a lot. And some big ones.
big fish.
They were catching several that we always call eating size, 2 to 6 pounds.
Oh, 8+. They were
But there were
several
several
8+.
8+ that they were bringing in. I think, did they ever break 20?
I don't know. I don't think so. Kirk Martin might have.
Yeah, I think he did. Maybe not with Cole,
Yeah.
but that was farther. You could continue to float down the river to where the bridge is, and it sounded like the bigger fish were farther down. But if you wanted to start your morning off and load the boat, it was the first 100
You were
yards.
done in 2 hours. From unload to load, you were maxed out with fish in 2 hours. So yeah, folks, keep that in mind. Next year, when it rains, keep your eye on the dams. You follow Oologah, anywhere with a dam where you can get a boat in below it,
Yeah.
you're gonna rock and roll.
Anywhere you can get in, and there's good flowing water below. You should have some success. Just be safe, because
The
anytime
water
there's
is
running
running
water
fast.
like that,
Yeah,
be
you
careful.
need a dependable boat. If your boat is kind of a turd, you don't want to do
Call
this.
buddy.
Because you could end up miles away real fast if that happens. So that's our only advice for the safety side of it. Dependable boat, life jackets. This is fast moving water, but be ready to set the hook lots.
It was amazing. Let's
So
talk about real estate.
moving on, let's talk about real estate. Let's wrap this thing up. What I want to talk about is this year, 2019 is going to mark a year where we had some historically low interest rates. And me being on the sales side of this thing, I can tell you guys, interest rates are going to be one of your key factors when you're buying a house. You're going to be pressured to lock rates. Everybody's going to be talking rates, and rightfully so, because the difference in 4% and 3.5%, talking big money on your monthly payment. You're talking about a different number on the house you can afford. So rates are worth paying attention to. What happened this year is we were in the 4s for a long time. I think some people with bad credit maybe even were up in the low 5s. But what's it been, a month ago?
Yeah.
About a month ago, they dropped rates, the 30-year fixed rate at 3.75, and they were doing
It's a record.
15-year rates at 3.12. Some people were getting, so that's outstanding.
Go get that $1 million home.
Yeah, because you won't. They haven't seen that in over 8 years, and that's real money in your pocket, and that's why you should pay attention to rates and rate trends when you're thinking about buying. If you're not in a big hurry, your mortgage guys will have their eye on this.
I would think for people that have owned homes for a while, maybe you bought it, and maybe you're on a 30-year, would it be smart to refi to a 15-year now?
If you bought in on a 30-year,
In like early 2000?
let's say early 2000, let's say even 10 years ago, if you were at 4.5 or 4.25,
Maybe it's time to do a little remodel on the home. You take
get some
free
equity.
money from that equity.
Yeah, but for sure, if you bought in at 5, and you could do 15-year at 3.2, you need to talk to somebody about that.
Yeah.
This is saving.
Maybe you're sending a kid to college.
Yeah,
need some extra money.
This is saving you real money.
There's a
because
lot of things that you can think about there.
And there's a lot of paperwork involved with buying a house, and one thing none of us like to look at is the
fine
interest, the interest chart. How interest is accumulated, how it's calculated is scary. You don't want to look at it; it's ugly.
I hate it every month.
Yeah, how much money you're paying the banks over 30 years is retarded, but it's what has to happen to be able to afford these things. So, but what I'm telling you is, this year, rates were a major driver in the real estate market. Major spike when they dropped these rates. And you're going to see that. So if you're thinking about selling and you see the rates fall like this, that's a time to list. If you're thinking about buying and you see the rates fall like this, you need to get damn serious about it, because you're putting money in your pocket.
And that's a big thing, because the markets, Tulsa's not a huge real estate town.
No.
When you start comparing permits and everything to the surrounding, I mean, Tulsa and Oklahoma City, for how many people are in each, they're double the permits that we are.
Very different. Then you go to DFW, which is the
30,
DFW
40,000
real estate market is Oklahoma combined. So
Not yeah,
so you
not
can't even compare it.
But
So,
Tulsa's very custom oriented.
yes,
So those people that are building these customs need to pay attention, because you can't always, when you're building a custom, it's not like a spec. You're not walking in that day.
no, you're talking about a 6 to 8 month lead time, and you need to talk to somebody that's got their ear to the ground that can tell you what these rates are going to do, because it's not a secret.
You have some pretty good contacts for that.
I do. Yeah, Tyler Van Bever's my main man.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have him on this show, feed you guys some information. But that's really what we got for you today. Cabin Boys
Brewery,
Brewery.
amazing place.
Go there, visit them. They're fantastic. I hope to meet them.
Anybody that wants to play ring toss.
Yeah, you.
I like to bet on things, and I'll bet right now, whatever you want, I'll take you on.
They do got a ring toss game. Bryce is good at it. I'm telling you, try the IPA, Huntman IPA.
Try anything they got. Start with this.
Yeah, we gave it decent scores. It's worth a shot. It'll wet your whistle in the IPA world, get you started.
You buy it at the store. It's a cool can. I mean, if you show up to a cookout with some people, they're gonna notice it.
Absolutely.
It's pretty neat.
Fishing world, wait for it to flood next year. Hit those dams, catch those catfish. Real estate world, watch your rates. When you see them trending low, make your move. That's all we got for you today, folks.
Appreciate it.
Guys, thanks for listening. Tune back in. Another beer, another fishing trip,
A little bit more real estate.
a little bit more real estate. We know.
Maybe hunting next time.
I think so.
We're getting into that time of year, so.
So, guys, thank you.
We'll see you
Appreciate
next
it.
time.
Going to see you next time.